Hello, good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day 10 of the crypto challenge, where we turn $1,500 into $250,000 in 6 months. And Bitcoin has not been kind to us these last few days, or in fact this last week, or actually since we started the challenge. It has actually been a very difficult time, and a lot of people have started asking a lot of questions. How or why are we still doing this challenge at this point in time when we know that there's still a lot of uncertainty in the market? So before we start anything, let's start with our daily tradition of checking our balance and seeing how much is in there. So 1399.65, and I think 1399, oops, 0.65. So we've actually lost $8 over the last 24 hours, which isn't bad. Okay, it's not bad. A lot of people were expecting us to really go down today. I got several messages when I first woke up like, Techie, you need to take all the money out of the challenge. Techie, we're entering into the worst possible period. Pull out now. Emergency. And during the day, essentially, Bitcoin made some moves. And these moves looked like it was moving in a particular... I don't know why that is like that. These moves looked like it was moving in a particular way. And so many people kind of assumed that it was going to go down. And the way that it moved, or the way that it started to go, I believe was around... Okay, I really don't like this scrolling system now. Was around, let's put it in a vertical line, I believe around here. Okay, here is when people really started to think, oh no, we are going down. Okay, we are going down and it's going to be painful. If I enlarge this now, you guys can see how big we went down. Okay, we went down quite a lot and very, very quickly. Now, when we cut off the stream yesterday, we were around, let's come back a bit, to approximately here, okay? So this is where we were yesterday in the stream when we cut off and we went offline. And Bitcoin bounced around and bounced up again, and then people started calling a bull trap, which is where it's a trap set for the bulls. If you guys remember, the bulls are the people pushing the price up. So we essentially entered into a bull trap starting around here, okay, and then it kind of dipped down, carried on going, went back up a little bit, dipped down harder, went back up, and now it's kind of doing something strange. What is Bitcoin doing right now? I don't know. And a lot of TA, or technical analysis, from the day has been very interesting to see. Personally, when I woke up and I saw what was happening, and I saw those messages, I thought, Mr. Techie, best thing to do, take some time off. Go and spend some time doing something else. So I did. I literally went away for the majority of the day, and I just let Bitcoin do its thing. Okay? I didn't make a single trade today, guys. I know a lot of traders who have been around who have made a lot of trades today, but the level of uncertainty... Sorry. I do apologize for that, guys. It's been quite cold here. The level of uncertainty that exists with Bitcoin right now is causing a lot of issues. Now, if you guys remember yesterday, before the stream ended, I drew these two. Let me try and zoom. I'm just going to change right now the zooming system, if I can remember where it is. Then we come down to price scale, and we go to auto scale. There we go. So yesterday, when we came to do the TA after the TA, and I drew these random two orange lines on here. So you guys can see that we came down, and if you remember, this here was a support line, and it was at the bottom of this channel, and it was a support line. And essentially, as you guys can see, what happened was that Bitcoin came down, bounced around the support line for a bit, broke through the support line into where it is now. Why did I not trade even though all predictions and all TA said we were going down? It was a personal choice. I decided there's a lot of uncertainty with BTC, and I don't really want a stressful day of having to sit there watching the monitor all the time. So I took a break, and I know a lot of people took a break. The server has been a little bit quiet today, and a lot of the regulars haven't really been there. So I know Damelon has been active though, and Damelon is here today with us on voice, as well as Crypto Romeo. Hello, Crypto Romeo. Damelon, how has the market been today since you were watching it more than I was?
Up and down the whole day, mostly, of course, downwards trending. So since we hit the peak, I was on last night when John had called out that this was probably a bull trap around 9K and it was going to fall. So I sold in Tether before I went to bed. And then when I woke up and got on, it was somewhere about 8 in the morning, and it had already started its downwards trend. And John had put up a trading view chart where it was showing it moving up and down in this downwards channel, and it continued down that several times during the day. So I did a couple small flip trades when it hit the bottom line of the channel, never any more than like maybe 25% of my stack. And then once I bought into BTC, would buy into, I was trading XRP today. XRP and Tron seem to move really well along with BTC. So you kind of double your profits. And, I was making, small amounts because it's only a small percentage of the stack, and it really wasn't moving a lot. And of course, every time it takes a long time for it to retrace back all the way down. So you have these periods of a couple hours where you're waiting for it to hit the channel again. And then right when we were about to hit the last one that I wanted to swing again, which was going to be around 8K, there was some good support and walls around 8K. It kind of stalled, and then out of nowhere kind of jumped up a few $100s. And now it's just kind of seeing this back and forth in this shorter area here for the last couple of hours. So it broke out of that channel that we were following, but just a little bit. So we're waiting to see if it's going to go up further or if it comes back down. So if you were watching the charts all day, it was very boring. You could have made some good swing trades. The alts were pretty, some of the alts were moving quite a bit, as the same with BTC. So there were some opportunities to do some good swing trades. But overall, I've seen a couple TAs too, some that say that we're actually still might hit a couple more bull traps and head up higher, but then back down. And then I've seen some that just say it's going down. So of course they conflict and they tell you two different things, and that's confusing. So it was just a boring day. Yeah. I'm really tired.
I think a lot of people are exhausted from the anticipation, I guess, of trying to see what the hell BTC is doing. So here's the chart, guys, that John gave yesterday. This is John's chart. He updates it very often. As you guys can see, there's a lot of other stuff on here from historic data and historical events. And again, we switched off the stream, I believe, around here somewhere. Okay, and then that's interesting. Did we switch off there? Yes, we did. And then Bitcoin kind of dropped down, and this is the channel. Bitcoin went down, bounced around a bit more, hit the support here around 8,000 and a bit. Okay, and then it went up, and now it's stuck at the top here, and nobody knows what it's doing. Why is it going sideways, essentially, where it's just kind of, candle after candle, just following one flat line. So yeah, today has been quite a boring day in the market, and I think a lot of people switched.
Hold on, go back to that chart for a sec, Techie.
Yeah, of course, yep.
That previous one you had up there.
Yep.
Yeah, so earlier on during the day, that top orange line was lower. So it was parallel to the bottom line and touching the top of that previous high there. So when I say it broke the channel, now it's over that top blue line, those few candles that are there. And since then, the chart has been changed based on the current trend. So we broke above. We thought that support would become a resistance later, and it broke above it. So this is the part you have to really watch it to see. It should come back down, but if it breaks up, we could see a little bit of uptrend before it corrects itself again. So have to keep an eye on it.
I'm just drawing on my chart, guys, how John's chart originally looked. There was a line going from here, through here, down to here. But because we kind of tickled the orange line, this orange line here, and it moved only ever so slightly, he updated his chart to reflect that, you know, this could actually be the main channel here, and that we're not out of it yet. And as always, guys, sometimes the candles can break a support or resistance line, go above it for just a tiny little bit, and then come back down again. And as you guys are watching here live, Bitcoin currently at 844 something. And there is a chance that it could break back down into this line and bounce around back in there. Or on John's chart, it would have broken through the original line, okay, which came down through here, and it will just continue to bounce in there. Now, there is also a lot of people, and I'm not a TA guy again, unfortunately we don't have our TA guys on. Oh, well, we have a few more people on. Hey Wes, how you doing? Hey Chakal, how you doing?
What's up?
So sometimes, guys, when a resistance line is broken, sometimes, occasionally, that line can become new support. Okay. As you can see here, Bitcoin's kind of just breaking back down through it. I don't believe this is the thing in this case here. Again, if you have a look at John's chart, okay, we're still within the channel that he put. Okay, it essentially means that we could still expect some stuff to go down, but for how long we don't know. It could maybe just come back down. I can't draw it on his chart, unfortunately, but it could potentially just come back down a bit and then bounce back up and through, or it could come down just a tiny bit and bounce back up from here. Let me see if I can replicate his chart on ours.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend too much time drawing the horizontal lines there.
No, I'm not going to draw the horizontals. So I believe that there is another line that he has. Okay, this purple one was his original line, and I'm going to draw now his modified line, and we'll just set that one there to a blue color. Okay, so what could happen? Someone mentioned to me, thank you very much for the tip. I believe it was Mr. D. I think it was Mr. D. Was it Mr. D? He said click the auto button and it makes things a lot easier. Thank you very much, man. So we could come back down here and bounce off. Oops, not that one. And bounce off the bottom here and bounce back up. Or we could come down and bounce up. Or we could stay within these two lines and just keep on bouncing about till we all go crazy. That's a technical term. Just kidding. Someone was asking what sort of volume is needed to break through that orange resistance. It's a very good question. Joseph, I know you've asked a few times about the volume and what would actually be needed in order to break through a resistance or a support line. Wes, do you think there's any definitive way of calculating or estimating what volume is needed to break through a line?
You'll see it when the volume comes in, but you can't determine it.
Yep, I mean it depends on how strong the resistance or support is. If it's a stupidly big, fat, support or resistance line, or wall essentially, then you're going to need a lot more volume to get through it. For example, if you have a 10 Bitcoin wall on whatever coin or whatever asset, and you want to break through it, you don't need as much volume as if you had a 150 Bitcoin wall or even a 1000 Bitcoin wall. So the volume all depends on how strong the wall is and what the current, previous volume on the market is. That's in my opinion.
I'd like to add to that too, is that usually it's not that the volume itself is what causes the wall to break. It's the volume tends to pick up after the direction is already happening. So volume itself doesn't determine if something breaks or not. It's the market sentiment that's contained within that volume. So you could see a huge candle, so at a certain period of time, and it could be colored green. But if there's just one more person buying than selling, that candle is green. So there could be almost an equal amount of buys and sells on that in that volume. which would mean the price itself would stagnate because you're basically fighting for the same spot. However, a single person could just sell their stack through a wall and break it. That doesn't happen too often, but what you usually will see happen is someone will notice a direction that the market is turning, and they will all FOMO against or sell against that wall. So if people will sit there watching the wall and seeing what everyone else is doing by watching the order book, and then they'll join in because they don't want to miss whatever it's going to happen. Like if it's going to drop, they don't want to lose all the money after the drop, so they want to sell on the wall. Or they don't want to miss the market going up, so they buy on the wall. So you'll see that a lot, especially when BTC was running last year. These huge, massive walls, and people were like, they'll never break. And you would just watch the numbers vanish instantly because everyone was doing the same thing. Other than the person selling the wall itself, with a sell order on the wall, everyone was buying it. So usually a volume is a good indicator that something's going to happen. But the market doesn't necessarily have to move if there's a lot of volume. So with the more expensive a coin, usually the volume tends to, especially like on a high volume coin like Ethereum or Litecoin, if the volume is low, it doesn't move a lot because there's already a lot of buy and sell orders on the market book. So there's volume required in order to move it significantly. But if you find a coin that is a very low volume normally, then very low volume can actually move the coin quite a bit because people aren't really paying attention to it. So there aren't people necessarily countering. That's why a lot of times you'll see very low volume coins get pumped, the ones you never heard of, because there's just not a lot of people with massive sell or buy orders on it. And no one's really watching. Bots aren't really there to counteract it. So you'll see it a lot more in like the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, things like that. So those are usually the higher volume anyway. Tronics is another one that's like that too.
Yep. Very, very good words there. I mean, volume is just, again, honestly, we could watch this candle right now, okay, with its volume, and don't trust that this color just tells you what it ended on. It doesn't tell you whether the volume was buys or sells. It just tells you the total volume, okay? There's many ways in which you can use volume as an indicator, and I'm sure Damelon will be covering them this week. There are many different ways of looking at it. For example, the size of the volume versus the size of the candle can often give a good indicator about what may potentially happen with the next candle. You know, if you've got a lot of volume but the candle is staying quite small, it means there's a very big battle going on there. Lots of people buying, lots of people selling, but it's all being held in exactly the same place. So I would say wait for Damelon to come back on, and then perhaps he will be covering that in TA week this week, and then we can see, you know, what the actual relationship between volume and movement actually is. Now, so Bitcoin is still kind of doing its thing. We have been, it's been quite, let me click on auto again. Great tip, I absolutely love that. Thank you, I think it was Mr. D, Pixel Puncher on the Discord server. Again, you guys can have a look here. We have had some days of nicely going up, and then some days are coming back down. Some days of coming down, followed by days of going up. It's still a very, very uncertain time. Overall, I believe we haven't broken the downward trend yet. The downward trend line. Is that correct, Wes? Or Damelon?
I haven't done my TA yet for today. I've been busy with some stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, in a little bit I'll do it.
Alright, so you guys, a lot of traders just kind of took the day easy and just decided, you know what, it's not worth trying to get in and trade on, you know, today. We might as well just wait and see what happens. So let's have a look at how our coins did, right? Because we saw what BTC did after the stream yesterday. It kind of went sideways and then started to really go down. Of course, then the coins have also suffered a little bit. So if we zoom out here and I go back to approximately here is where we stopped the stream. So then you guys can see it went sideways, dropped down. Okay. Sorry, hold on. Is this correct? This doesn't seem correct, is that? Let me open up a new one. Something seems a little bit fishy here. Okay. Ah, that's ICX. I saw this pattern and I thought we were looking at Nano. Sorry about that. So yes, the stream we cut around here. Again, it went sideways and it dropped and came back up just a little bit in relation to BTC. We could probably expect a similar pattern on most of them. Walton went sideways, took off actually yesterday after the stream. Saw a little bit of gains, not that much. I think we're looking at approximately 6 to 7%. I think it jumped up. And then again, following BTC, came down, bounced up a little bit. And of course, XRP doing what XRP likes to do best. Just ignore Bitcoin and just do its own thing. So yesterday after the stream, it took off at one point, and then it had a correction because it accelerated too fast. So it had a correction, bounced around for a bit, and then again followed what BTC did. That has affected our portfolio. It's affected our value. It's affected our balance. And tomorrow we will be not in time for the stream tomorrow, unfortunately, but we will be discussing with the team very soon about how we can try and counteract the BTC movement and how it is affecting our portfolio for the challenge. We're not sure what we will decide yet. We're not sure how it will actually come to fruition, you know, what new strategy or tactic we may be using. But since the market is still uncertain and there is no kind of estimate or time on when we may actually be in a better position, we got to start making some money, people. You know, having these funds tied up in here and not actually making money is becoming a little bit of an issue. So we may change our tactic, we may change our strategy slightly in order to still make some profits, even though the market is going as it's going. Technically, you guys, we haven't really lost, you know, that much. We are down $20, $21 from when we started in kind of 10 days of this type of market. A lot worse could have happened. I know a lot of people who have, you know, been in a worse situation. So we'll discuss with the team tomorrow and come back to you guys and see how we can make this better. We got a couple of comments. Sticks, thank you very much for your suggestion, suggesting we make a playlist on YouTube with the last videos, so it's easier to share. Yep, I will try and get onto that. I'll add it onto my list of things to do. And we also then have a comment from the Geocache Hunter. I took it easy, partially because I didn't want to stress out about the coins, but mostly because I felt lazy today. Yep, I think a lot of people agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that. I did the same thing. I was feeling lazy. I was like, should I just stress myself out for the rest of the day, or should I just let it be and just let go? So that's what I did, and it was actually a very nice day. Guys, if you want to ask a question on Discord, please make sure you tag me in the question so I know it's addressed to me and not just a reply to someone else's comment. And if you want to ask a question on YouTube, please precede it by a large capital letter Q so I know it's for me and not just, again, a reply to a previous comment. So the Jackalow should be on soon, hopefully, with the rest of the TA week. News today, it was a slow day in the news even. I was surprised that there wasn't really any major FOMO or anything happening. Even checking Reddit, where there's usually at least something, there isn't really anything major. I did read this one earlier. I think it's basically essentially a lot of rubbish. I think it's twisted stories. It's talking about how France and Germany kind of are maybe potentially thinking of regulating crypto. Again, this kind of stuff has been mentioned a lot of times by a lot of countries. Most recently, everyone's saying, "Oh my God, the U.S. Senate, they're gonna ban crypto," and then they had a big gathering, meeting, hearing, and they actually went quite well. So I would say, guys, just don't worry about things like this. You know, I don't even know when this is from. Actually, I'm just realizing now it says that it's an archive. So I think that's maybe from today. Yep, February 9th, 2018. So again, guys, things like this, just ignore them. Don't worry about these stuff. Wait until they actually materialize. Wait until they come to fruition. Wait until the regulations come in. and then we look at how we can counteract them. Then we can look at how we can still make money in this beautiful market. And look, see, so it says like the German call for Bitcoin clampdown, and then the newly formed German government wants to support cryptocurrencies. This is the thing, guys. This is FOMO and FUD all over the place. It was a slow day in the market, so there wasn't really anything interesting. For those Aussies, I know there's quite a few Aussies joining us. Brisbane Airport accepting cryptocurrency. So next time you guys fly to anywhere else in the world, be sure to take your ledgers with you, and I think you can actually buy some stuff at the airport using cryptocurrency. That's quite a positive one. And that's it basically. There's a lot of rubbish talk, you know, little tiny bits of news, but nothing major. So unfortunately, we don't have any FUD or FOMO evaluating to do for you guys today.
Yep. I was going to say the unofficial FOMO of the day was just your typical Investopedia, Cointelegraph, CNBC, because the Winklevoss twins were being interviewed and they basically said, "Oh, Bitcoin's going to be worth, 40 times what it's going to be worth in 10 years, what it's worth now." So what did they say? Something like $320,000. And it's an absolute empty interview because you're talking to the Winklevoss twins. These guys both own Gemini, the exchange, and are some of the biggest Bitcoin holders in the world. So of course they say it's going to be high, and they're doing it to make themselves richer. So just like all the news companies usually do, and someone talks about Bitcoin on TV, and everyone has to talk about it. So that was kind of the FOMO of the day. Of course, it wasn't going to affect the price in any way. It's just that's what's in all the articles today.
Yeah, it has been weird. Guys, I think even maybe tomorrow might be a bit of a slow day. I know it's the weekend. I actually usually look forward to the weekend because it's when a lot of people are online and trading. So generally, sometimes, occasionally, there could be some good action on the weekend. But everybody is worried. Everybody's playing it safe for the next few days, I believe. So today will only be a short stream, and we're going to wait till Djaclo comes here to share his TA lesson for the day. But we decided to potentially introduce something new to you guys, which will hopefully kind of give you an insight into what is possible and what kind of stuff you may be doing if you decide to go full-time trading, or not even full-time, but if you at least decide to dedicate quite a few more hours to your trading. So each of us, or those of us who wish to, we will share our trades of the day, what we kind of did, how the markets reacted, what we made, or potentially even what we didn't make, and then that way then it can serve as kind of inspiration for you guys in the long run. So Damelon, I haven't traded at all today. I haven't made a single trade whatsoever. Would you like to share yours potentially?
Yeah, didn't really fill out my spreadsheet today because I was trading so often sometimes that I didn't want to take the time to look away. So I'll have to fill it in later, but I can basically say what I was doing in general. So last night, of course, during the stream, even I was trading quite a bit, and I traded several currencies like Lisk, ADA, XRP, Tronix, I think, depending on what was happening at the time, because Bitcoin kept going up. So I was making small amounts. And I think at the time that I actually announced what I had made for the week, I had increased it quite a bit. I think I'd almost doubled my daily profit. So as far as today, I was already covered for what I needed today to make for my daily percentage. So I quit. And then shortly after we had the stream, John, the guy who runs our Discord, posted some TA and saying he thinks this is a bull trap, and we should probably think about selling everything and going into Tether. So since I'm on all the time and I can watch the market, that's what I did before I went to bed. So I had made my profits and then woke up and found out the market was going down. And at the moment it was doing exactly what he said it was going to do. Everything was following the channel. So I was noticing it had already gone up and down in this sine wave pattern down the channel. So when it reached the bottom of the channel, I purchased some Bitcoin. I mentioned earlier tonight what I had done. So about 25% of my funds, I bought Bitcoin and then looked at some of the charts. So today I was mostly trading XRP and I think Tronix, but almost every time I was solely trading XRP because it had a lot of volume and it was moving quite a bit. Anytime BTC changed directions, people were buying in. So I would buy in and then immediately set a limit sell, not too much higher, just enough to increase my Satoshi value a little bit. And then after that, I would get back into BTC and hold that for the remainder of the channel, not trying to hit the top, but about maybe 75% up the way, and then sell that. So I could make a little bit of money. And I'll admit in this last little section, I got a little confused what was going on, and I had lost some of the profits I made for the day. So in the end of the day, I was just a little bit over breaking even. And that was just because I let my emotions get a hold of me instead of following what my normal strategy was. So basically it was just BTC and XRP or BTC plus Tronics on some of the channels flows today. And that was about all I did.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, man. Wes, did you do any trades today at all?
I swung Ripple today. I got like a 10% on Ripple. That's about it.
Okay, so a bit of a slow day for you as well, yeah?
Yeah, that's all I swung today as well was Ripple. I've actually been holding that Ripple for about 5 days now. I would say I bought that Ripple at 99.30 on the 4th, I think it was, and I saw what was going on this morning. John kept saying we were into a bull trap. I caught Ripple at 12,607, sold my little swinging stack, and then immediately transferred that BTC into USDT at 8601. So currently Ripple's at 11,508 and BTC's at 8319. So I think I'm overall happy with my quick swing. And I plan on going back into BTC when I feel it's safe again.
Okay, so yeah, I think a lot of people are taking the safe course of action, guys. And those of you on YouTube, thank you very much for the comment, Greylan. Those of you on YouTube who don't know, we have a Discord server. Discord server is like a big chat server community. And over there, there's a lot of trading discussion and trading talk. There's a lot of advice, and there's a lot of very knowledgeable people giving out TA at various times throughout the day, as well as calls on what people should be doing. So John, Mr. CoinVX, he gave out a signal yesterday after the stream saying that we are entering into a bull run, and therefore we will be descending very soon. So a lot of people followed his advice of going into Tether, okay? And I encourage you all to go and join up to the server so that you too can have up-to-the-date market information and advice that you can then follow. Because, sorry, a bull trap, not a bull run. I just got a comment from someone saying bull trap. Yep, bull trap, sorry, not a bull run. And essentially then, you can follow the advice during the day, and you can make other trades during the day when you are available. However, we've spoken about this before, guys. If you wish to take part in these calls for a bull trap or a bull run, please make sure you stay up to date on what the market is doing. Okay, a bull trap, this could have been the bull trap, this could be the end of it, and then it starts to go back up again. So you need to keep checking where things are, when things are happening, in order for you to buy back in. Now, for the trade, again, we've spoken about this a couple of times before. We don't do trading outside of the stream hours. We may change that potentially. We're still having a look. We're going to have an internal discussion to work out what we're going to do in order to stop losing money and start actually making money. Because every time we make some profits, a bull trap happens, and then we lose them, and then another bull run happens, and then we lose them. So, yeah. Again, strongly advise those of you on YouTube to join up to the Discord server. The link is in the website, sorry, it's on the website, and the link to the website is in the video description. Sign up there and you will find a great, massive community with lots and lots of crypto stuff. Got a question coming from All to the In. Why doesn't Tether ever increase? How do they make sure it stays around $1? That's a very interesting question. Does anyone know the answer to that? How does Tether stay at approximately $1?
They mint and burn coins, depending on how the market is.
Ah, okay. Yep, that's a great answer. So they create and burn or destroy coins based on how the market is in order to ensure that its value stays at approximately the same amount. What does that mean? It means that they're continuously printing and continuously destroying new coins, essentially. Is that correct, Wes?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So I hope that answers the question. I didn't actually think about that before. So yeah, I never actually
There's
thought about.
actually,
Go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you. There's a YouTuber called Doug Polk Crypto who does a really, really good, long, very descriptive explanation on Tether in general and its legitimacy or illegitimacy. He's very neutral about it, gives you all points and all factors. I'd really suggest taking a look at it. Or if you are interested, if anyone's interested, you should definitely learn more about Tether because there's a lot of people FUD about Tether, so it's good to know.
Yep. Thank you very much. What's his name once again? Sorry.
Doug Polk Crypto.
Okay, guys. So if you want to find out about Tether, check the video by Doug Polk Crypto, where he talks about Tether. I have seen mention of it before. I haven't actually watched it before. I don't go into Tether that often personally, but as a coin, kind of that is tied to the US dollar value, I just I use it very rarely. And when it's needed, it's good to have. I did see mention of another coin recently, which is tied to the US dollar value. I think it may be coming up as an alternative to Tether, but again, it's a brand new coin and we don't know what's going to happen with it or where exactly it's going to go. So let's just leave it as it is. Let's stick to Tether, the most common one that is used today. And someone posted the link to it. Thank you very much, Greyland. Posted the link to it in the Discord server. So again, guys, another reason and a good idea why you should join to the Discord server. Mr. DeJaclo hasn't come online yet, so we are missing his TA of the day, i.e. his TA lesson of the day. So let's open up to questions right now on YouTube or indeed on the Discord server. If you have a question on YouTube, put a big capital letter Q. If you're on Discord, make sure you tag me and you can ask any question you want. We will try and answer them here right now. It doesn't always have to be, guys, it doesn't always have to be questions about what we're doing on the day. You can also ask other questions or things that you've been wondering. If you want to ask opinions on coins, sometimes, we may not know enough about the coin to formulate a good opinion. So just be aware that you might, you may not get the answer that you may be asking a question. But of course, if it is a coin that we do know about, then we can talk to you about it. Other than that right now, it's actually interesting what Bitcoin is doing. So if we, as you guys can see here, as we mentioned earlier, we said that BTC broke out of the original channel that was on John's chart and then came back in again. Okay, and Bitcoin likes to do this quite often. It will kind of break something and then come back in again. Its current value is 8322, I believe. So it looks like we're still going to be stuck within this downward channel for quite some time. Let me click back on auto. Amazing tip. I absolutely love that. So we may end up still remaining within this channel here for quite a while. We don't know when it's going to end or how it's going to end or why it's going to end. But we could potentially break up out of this channel or break down and go even deeper. Wes, have you had a chance to have a look at BTC at all or do some TA or analyze some TA from somewhere?
Not yet. I mean, if you have a chart, I'll look at it for you.
Have you seen John's latest chart? It's pinned in the trading channel in the Discord server. If you can maybe have a look at that and then just let me know when you're ready with a thought of what you may believe may happen.
All right, here, I see it.
Yep. Do you want to take a few minutes just to think about it, or you wanna just go straight off the cuff?
No, it's pretty easy. I got this.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, the bull. I mean, he labeled it, so I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can see two different downward channels and one upward channel. The downward channels are shown as the orange lines, and the upward channel, you can see the cyan and the green line. You can see back there was the bear trap, and then the hammer candle, and it pops straight up, and then he called the bull trap right there. Exactly happened. Volume was crazy, so market is live right now. And see, MACD went crazy as well. That's just another indication that market is live. When I say market is live, is you know, it's not going to be slow anymore. Things are going to happen fast now. So let's see. He layered out all these support and resistance levels. All the blue lines are you know, support or resistance. All the one above the candle are resistance. All the one below are going to be supports. So right now I'm looking live on it. So it broke that 8.5K support and it went down. It broke even before that, like 8.2K-ish support, and went straight down to the 8.1-ish. So right now we just touched that 8.2K again, around there, 8.3, 8.2, and it might bounce up. It looks like from Ichimoku Cloud that it might flip again and might make the price bounce back up for a little bit, but we're in the upper part of the downward channel still. So it kind of shows some good hope and faith that it could pop back up, but if not, it's going to drop straight down and it can hit, you know, 7.6K, 7.4K. If it breaks down past the channel below, then, you know, we're going to go back to the 6,000s. But if it breaks upward out of the channel, then we can be back. We can possibly go to 9,000s. We'll be in the higher 8,000s if we break up out of the channel right now. Yeah, but other than that, there's nothing really to look at for now. That's like the prediction right now. I mean, there's not really a prediction right now, but we just know that right now we're in a downward channel. So you can expect to just fall up and down within the 7.6K to 8.5K. We can go anywhere there in the next couple hours, or we can break up out of 8.5K, or we can break down below into, like, if we break past 8,000, we're going to fall. So yeah, that's my analysis on this TA.
All right, thank you, man. So guys, I know John's chart might look very, very busy to a lot of you. Again, the link to this is in the pinned posts on the trading channel in the Discord server. How did John know it was a bull trap? Just some market indications of the way that the lines are going and everything kind of indicated to him that we are in a bull trap, essentially. So he also looked at some other factors, and you know, this is the benefit of doing TA, is that you can predetermine possible points where there may be something happening, like the bull trap. You know, there's been a few other bull traps over the days. Some of them maybe not as big as this one. But yeah, you know, essentially, when you guys start to master TA, you start to notice these types of things as well. If some of you are wondering what these blue lines are, these are just kind of support lines, all right? And as you can see, we kind of bounced down off of this blue support line, bounced up a bit, broke through it. It became kind of a bit of a resistance line. And up here as well, again, we started bouncing around on it. You have the same one with the blue line going across down here. Again, bouncing off of it several times. Right now we're at the point where we may potentially bounce off of it yet again. And the third one down here. So these are the support lines that could provide some support to potentially reverse the candles into the opposite direction. If you guys want the link for this, join the Discord server, trading channel, you'll find it there. So it seems that unfortunately I posted something wrong earlier on today, and I miscalculated the time, or I wrote something wrong, and I wrote that the stream will be happening at 9 PM to some of the guys in the team, and that is why Dijaklo isn't here right now. Yeah, I do apologize for that, Dijaclo. I kind of messed that up. I don't know how I wrote down 9 p.m. EST. Okay. I forgot to put a comma. I said, okay, guys, see you at the stream, then at 9 p.m. It's bad grammar on my behalf. I meant see, we were due to have a meeting at 9 p.m. today, guys, and I think I miswrote the line, which made it seem like the stream was happening at 9 p.m. So, Dijaclo, I'm sorry, man. I hope maybe you might potentially still be able to join. If not, guys, then we will have to delay today's TA lesson to tomorrow, essentially. We got a question here. We got a couple of questions. Why is it a bull trap? That was asked before. And then we got another question. It looks like maybe the indicator for the bull trap was the light blue line intersecting with the near top of the recent bull trap. With the light blue line, the cyan line, intercepting with the near top part of the recent bull trap. So that would have continued up here. Well, essentially we were in a channel. Wes, maybe do you want to comment on why or how this was a bull trap, or how it was called as a bull trap?
Hang on one second.
Okay. Again, guys, I'm not that amazing at TA, so I'm not going to comment on this. I don't know how to determine a bull trap from a non-bull trap, to be honest. So that's why I'm asking Wes to come in with his bigger knowledge, or even Damelon, if you know how to determine a bull trap from a non-bull trap. Is that something maybe you could comment on at all?
Yeah, I listened to John.
Okay, great. All right.
Yeah, here.
Okay.
So, you can tell when it's a real bull run because, I mean, if you guys been in crypto long enough, you'll know when there's a bull run. You'll see just massive green candles. You won't see any red, like barely any red. And these growths do look unnatural. Like, they really don't look like what you would see in a bull run. You would see, much larger green candles and not like inconsistent green candles, like holding back to move up. It would, if it's a real bull run, it's gonna break and pop. If you look on the TA, on John's TA, you can just look at say Binance or something, see the chart for Bitcoin. You can see back when he put it in the channel, when he said bull trap, when you saw the upper trend, you can see it just starts becoming green, red, green, red. You see a lot of inconsistency. That's not what you want to see. So it's pretty safe to assume a bull trap there. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, you could say that it's pretty obvious to see a bull trap because of how inconsistent the candles are. You see very small green. You don't see large greens. You see a lot of green, but you don't see large green candles. So I think that was a very good indication that something was going to happen. Like, it was fighting a lot to go up. You know, you see a lot of resistance, a lot of double tops, just a bunch of double tops. So, I mean, I think that's how he assumed there was a bull trap. I mean, I think that's how people, you know, see bull trap, you know. You would see just consistency with a lot of large green candles, and you would see like very few red candles. You see like there's a lot of red candles here actually. If you look upward to the bull trap on the channel, you see a lot of red, a lot of green, but you don't see a lot of large greens. That's the thing. You see a lot of reds, a lot of greens. That's all I see, you know. So I think that's how he said. Yeah, that's how he told. That's how he knew it was a bull trap. So that's my insight on it.
Okay, thank you very much for your insight on that. I hope that answered the question, guys. We got a question from Martin on the Discord server. Sorry, not Martin, Enigma, saying, Wes, he wants your advice. If going to bed while BTC is still fighting, stay in USDT, or should I layer out buy orders starting at 7.5k down to 6.2 or something like that?
Are you going to sleep right now, or when are you going to go to sleep?
Yep, I think he's in Europe, so he'll probably be sleeping quite soon.
All right, so we haven't even broken down past 8.1, 8 point. We've hit what, 8.1? Yeah, like around 8.1. So we could possibly break lower. If not, we're gonna go up. It's testing a lot of the supports right now. That's the thing. So you should. What I would do is I would buy a little bit. At 8.8, like 8,150. Buy a little bit. Just in case it just double at bottoms and it goes back up. But if not, it's gonna break down. But you're okay still. You're gonna layer it. You're gonna buy some at 8,000, 7,800, 7,500, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. So just layer your buys, like, so 8,150, around 8,000 ish, 7,800. You could do some at 7,600 something, 600s, but just save a little bit of USDT. Better safe than sorry. But honestly, we don't know if it's gonna go up or down right now, so just be safe. All right, there.
Yep, and of course, staying in USDT, if the chart does go up, you haven't lost any dollar value. If the chart goes down, you're able to buy in lower. So it's a safe position to be in, okay, if you are uncertain about what's happening and you wish to take a break and see kind of how things are going to pan out. Let's see if there's any other questions right now. That's just my opinion, guys. Again. Someone saying the G20 is a major event to watch. It will be interesting potentially to watch and see what they come up with, but again, it may cause some moves in the market. We will have to see as they happen. There's no point in preparing from now for the worst. We should all take a positive attitude and a positive outlook on what may happen, and that will in turn influence the market if everybody starts to look at things a little bit more positively. I think that's everything. I don't see any other questions unless I've missed anything. Just scrolling through now. I am not sure. Oh, here we go. Here's a big question from L'Oreal Julian. Can you explain which peaks and lows you must use to draw support and resistance lines? If you look at last week or in the last 12 hours, you'll have completely different lines because you look at it, because it looks like it's chosen almost randomly, and I guess it's not. How should we choose? That's an interesting question. Wes, do you want to maybe comment on that? I know Djaclo drew very quickly yesterday some lines. L'Oreal, have you seen the video from yesterday about the support lines and the support and resistance lines? Sorry, if you haven't, then please go and check that out. Wes, maybe do you want to do a quick comment on that? Where to draw the lines from?
Wait, what was the question?
Where should you draw the lines on for support and resistance levels?
Oh, the horizontal lines?
I guess the trend lines as well, or the channel lines. I guess for the shorter term right now.
You put it on you see where the major action happens, where the volume spikes up. That's where a major price difference happens, like a big jump or a big jump down. So you see here, say is purple lines. Go back to the other one.
Okay.
All right, so you see those two purple lines. It's showing a downward channel. And you see how many points match up to that downward trend, that downward part of the channel. You see it touches 3 or 4 times. You see the top one touches 3 or 4 times, and that's where a major price difference happens, a spike in volume as well. So that's a big indication of how to draw your trend lines. And resistance and support lines you draw by seeing how many times in the past, in the like right now to the past or whatever, how many times it hits it, and you'll see that the price touches that a lot. And if it, like for resistance, it'll touch it a lot, and you'll see that it doesn't break it, it'll go back down. So just down there, you see, like it touches it 2 times. Touches that 2 times. You see it down there, right in the front. right to now. Touches it 2 times, and just couldn't break past down there. Support is too strong. And then if you just go up top, you'll see that it touches right there, like touches the top a few times, 2 times, but it's not strong enough. Support's not great enough to break it again right now. So those are some ways to, you know, find it. I'm pretty sure that's how everyone does it. So that's how I do it. So I hope that answers your question. All right, go ahead, Teki.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, when I drew these lines, essentially, I looked at where the points may possibly be, and just by judging by your eyesight, you can generally see where lines may potentially go. And in the beginning, what you'll start to do is that you will kind of get a line, you'll get a trend line, and you will say, oh, I think I see a line that goes from here to here. So then you'll draw it like that, and you'll extend it outwards, and you see, are there other points on there that kind of match up with that? Okay. If you're only getting 2 points, 1, 2, then generally it's like, okay, potentially not really. But if you start to get more, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then you know, okay, this is a strong trend line. I can use that as a reliable trend line. The same thing with going up. Okay, you can kind of take any point at all. We'll do it going up here. Okay, and then you can draw, oops, that one didn't start off right there. You can draw, this is just for starting off, guys, okay? Just until you start to see the things. You can draw a line like that, and then you can go, actually, you know what? It only hit once, twice, didn't really work out. Let me come in with a new line. Let me start from this peak here. Let me go across there. There we go, look at that. We've hit that line once, twice, 3 times, and potentially almost 4 times before the market decided to reverse its trend. It's an interesting way just to start off. Just keep messing around, guys. You will start to notice lines more and more often as you start to trade more and more, and as you start to look at charts more and more, and then you can work out where to put them, but always at the peaks and dips. Okay, don't do it on anything less than 15 minutes. If you go down to like 1 minute, you're going to be like drawing so many lines all over the place, and they're not actually even proper lines. Okay, another good place to go is to kind of 1 hour, to the 1 hour charts, and it can sometimes show you much clearer lines. Okay, for when you're starting off drawing, you can kind of draw some clearer lines going up, etc., or indeed lines going down. So practice with that. It's good practice to get into that, to work out if you can actually see where the trend lines are. And you can always, you can always as well go onto the Discord server and open up anyone's charts, and you can have a look. Do they have similar trend lines or support lines to where I am? Generally, you want the bigger lines. You don't just want like a little short line here and then another short line here. You don't want one coming up here. It doesn't really make sense to have all these massive tiny, all these little tiny lines, sorry, not massive. So practice, practice makes it a lot easier. Yesterday, I just quickly drew across a couple of lines on this chart here. And then today I looked at John's chart. Okay, just very quickly, just looked at his chart, saw where his lines were, okay, as a rough estimation. And then I came back and I drew the same lines over here and found the same points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, I'm on the 1 hour chart. So if I go down to the 15 minutes, it'll become clearer. Okay, so again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 times kind of hit this line here, and that's it. So practice, guys, will help you to notice these lines, and practice will make you better at drawing them. And by all means, always ask as well. Don't worry about asking. You can always ask a question in the forum. Just say, hey guys, I'm practicing drawing trend lines. And again, guys, this is a key thing, okay? When you go in there into the server, if you say to people, hey guys, I drew a chart, and you send them your chart and you're just getting started with TA, people will start to laugh at you and say, what are you doing? Are you crazy? But if you instead say, hey guys, I'm practicing and learning TA, can someone check out my trend lines and tell me if they look good? Or can someone check out my support lines and tell me if I've got them in the right place, or maybe I missed something out, etc. Then you'll get a positive response. Someone might say, okay, that line there maybe could be adjusted here. What did you base that line off of? And don't be offended, or don't be worried if someone isn't there helping out your thing, or maybe takes it in a bit more of a difficult way. let's see, there's a few questions that have come in on Discord, but I don't think they're for the stream. I think they're just general questions there. And all the ones saying a good thing is to go back to 2015 and draw lines and see how well they hold up. That's a very interesting thing, guys. There's one tactic that I use sometimes, and I will be using more because I will be practicing my TA a lot, is that I kind of move the chart right to the edge here, so then I hold it. I hide it, okay? I don't know what comes next. And then I start to draw a line, okay? And I say, you, let me just move that point there. You come up to kind of something like this somehow, okay? And then I scroll across and I see how my line panned out, you know, and I extend it a little bit further from where it was, and I see, okay, I did in a way maybe have a bit of a line here. It bounced off it a few times, okay, in several places. And then it broke down, okay? And looking at historic data allows you, you know, while hiding it, allows you to kind of estimate where you think the market is going. And then you can check how it actually panned out and how your call was. Okay, so again, that's a good tip for practicing TA. Choose a historic point in time, you know, anything at all, and just come in and just draw a line like that. Okay, and then you can see, okay, yep, bounced off there, 1, 2, so a few times over here, bounced off again, and then it broke through. Okay, and then you can look and say, oh, okay, then it started to go down, in a sense, in this direction here. Okay, till again, it started to go down. Hit off my line once, didn't quite touch, 2 times over here, broke through on the 3rd way, and it kind of gives you a good idea, guys, okay? I don't want to talk too much about it, otherwise we could be here for hours kind of talking about potential dips and gains. But practice makes perfect, as with anything. Market geometry, okay. Again, guys, if you're on YouTube and you want to ask a question, please put a capital letter Q. Mr. Pixel Puncher D said, Techie, how did you draw that big yellow line from left to right? I always draw them manually. Or is that your alert line? The big yellow line, you come to the top here, and I just choose horizontal line. Okay? It just helps me to come in at any point. I click, and it places a horizontal line. Usually, I find I will have to kind of zoom in a little bit, and then kind of fine tune it to exactly where I think it should be. So right now I'm putting it on, just to zoom in and give you guys a good idea. I'm putting it on the bottom of this guy here, okay? And it touched once, touched again here, touched, broke through, okay? And then that basically essentially stays there. Once I'm done with that, that point in time, I just go and I delete that line. The trouble I have, Mr. Techie, I see patterns from the past, but I have issues telling where it will go in the future. Then just stay up to date with TA week, okay? Try and find out the next few lessons. It will help you recognize maybe some patterns or some things that are happening, as well as using the indicators to estimate which way things will go. But when you're doing historical data, you can kind of see, and you can guess, and you can look, and you can analyze. Okay, so for example, right over here at this point here, we see that it broke down. We can have a look at various indicators, and we will go into the indicators later on. Okay, you can see it broke down. You can have a look at the indicators, see what they did. You can have a look at the volume, see what it did. You can have a look at a lot of different things and try and recognize that pattern. Okay, I would suggest paper and pen. I'm a big fan of paper and pen personally. Being a tech guy doesn't really make sense, but I'm a fan of paper and pen to write down anything related to crypto. So if I start to notice this pattern and I say, okay, the MACD suddenly dropped, we were within a channel, it was coming down very hard, it dropped 10% within the last 2 hours, okay, and then we broke down. And I'll kind of try and like draw just on the paper and pen a quick pencil guide of how the chart looked and where the line was. And then I will go on to my next part and I will do the same thing again, and I will have a look at it and I will say, okay, that there is what MACD was doing, that there is what Stutch was doing. Again, we will cover these indicators in TA week, okay? And then after it kind of draws that pattern, then I move on to the next one. And then when we come to the current time, I have a look and I'm like, okay, well, this one here maybe looks like what I saw 2 weeks ago at this point here. Let me draw the channel. Okay, I see this. And it can potentially give you an estimate. It's not going to be very accurate, but an estimate of where things may potentially go. That's the question on there. Right, any question on YouTube? No question on... Braddon Park saying TradingView has a replay function that is useful for that. Very interesting. I did not know about the TradingView replay function. I might have to try that out and see how to activate it. That would be very interesting actually to do then, because then you could literally just ensure that the rest of the screen is hidden and you don't know what's going on at all, no external influence, and then you can kind of draw some lines and some charts and see how things go. Wes or Damelon or anyone else, do you have any good ideas for practicing TA?
Other than if there's not someone who has time to teach you, I would just suggest looking through Google off of some self-help videos that kind of go over it, or there are even books that do it, in the real world, not necessarily off of crypto. So there are several on YouTube that people talk about, but I mean, I can't remember on the top of my head, so I'd have to go back through my history. But I would just go on there and say like intro to technical analysis, and I'm sure you'll find some good ones.
Yeah, I learned on Google. I learned just watching videos and reading up on Google. I mean, it took me a while to learn, but it's definitely paid off in the long run, made me a lot of money. Being able to anticipate, have a good idea where the next candle is going to go and, what's going to happen.
Yeah. Someone mentioned yesterday that, I made a comment on the stream that we were about to break 8,800 or something. How did I know that? It wasn't like I was predicting the future or using technical analysis even. I was just watching the chart while we were doing it. And I all of a sudden noticed the order book fly up to right near 8K and all the buy orders starting to come in. So it wasn't that I had drawn a chart saying we were going to go past there. I just happened to be watching it, and you notice out of the ordinary erratic behavior in a certain direction. So you could watch like a buy wall that's 100 all of a sudden go to like 40. You know you're going to go through the wall because everyone all of a sudden is buying in and they're going to FOMO in when they see that. So it's not like I did it even 10 minutes ahead. It was just like a minute before it happened. So you just learn how to read things too.
Yeah, one thing, guys, that Martin just mentioned is that he got comments from Dejaclo saying that you need to include the wicks of the candles when you're coming to do TA. So I'm just going to zoom in quite a bit here. You guys now can see the wicks on these candles here. These are the wicks, and you need to include them in the lines when you're doing TA. I think, there we go. If you change the view to bars, okay, if you go up here and you change it to bars, it will allow you to kind of see where the tops are. All right, if maybe it's not so clear and you've got a very high resolution monitor and it's a really tiny thing, if you go to bars, it will really help. If you go to line, it's kind of not as beautiful. You don't get as accurate of a result because it doesn't quite go up to the top. So normal view, stick to candles. You see the wicks. If you're having trouble seeing the wicks, flip over to bars when you're drawing your lines, and then when you're done drawing the lines, come back to candles and you can see how things actually panned out. Let me see now if there's anything else. All right, I don't see any other questions anywhere, and I don't believe the Jacklo will be joining us today, guys, so we may have to hold off of TA day today and just do a little bit extra tomorrow to make up for that. I just noticed I'm actually on Binance chart, which is interesting. I thought I switched over to Bitfinex, so this channel here isn't even valid technically. Some people may be asking why is it not valid? Because everything here shifted along by 24 hours. They didn't add in a gap where Binance went down for the 28 or 30 hours that it was. So technically then this TA is invalid, or these orange lines at least are invalid, because it doesn't show the true representation of the market because of the gap. How can you counteract that? For now, guys, I would go over to Bitfinex, okay, and I would draw my lines on Bitfinex. Okay, just to get a rough idea of how things would potentially, oops, why has it gone there? Of how things would potentially go.
You're on Bittrex.
Ah, I'm on Bittrex, thank you. Bitfinex, let's see, where is it?
It's the second down from the top.
Ah, there it is. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So again, I would start to draw my lines, see where the lines kind of match up. This one, for example, here doesn't match up, so I'm going to adjust it a little bit. I know we're not quite at the bottom of the wick. Okay, so see, going to the bottom of the wick, guys, makes a very big difference. Okay, we come right to the bottom of the wick there, and then it kind of draws a bit of a different line. We can see the wicks came touching down there. I don't like that it snaps so easily. Okay, and then the difference between this one and the Binance one is that there's a massive amount missing, and so it doesn't give that accurate of a result. And I think it should be back to normal in about a week, where we can rely on the Binance charts again for the longer term trends, but for the shorter term ones, it's perfectly fine.
Something to keep in mind is if you're doing that on Bitfinex, the prices aren't the same, and Bitfinex is the highest volume exchange, so it's going to move a little more than, say, Binance will. So it will be a little different, and the price will be different. So if you're looking at a price expecting it to hit that on Bitfinex, it's not going to be the same price on Binance necessarily. So just kind of use it as a general guideline.
Yep, definitely, I agree with that. The price can sometimes differ by up to kind of $100 at a time, so just be very careful with it. Mr. L'Oreal asking, it's hard to know what is reliable information on the internet. Would be good if you guys from the team could put your website references that you trust for us to learn good things and avoid losing time on rubbish ones. That is an interesting one. Thank you for that. I know that in the server, L'Oreal, there is a whole section called resources, and in there is some TA resources as well. I believe those ones to be very, very good, very good sources. And Wes is currently spamming this link, so I'm going to open up this link. I hope it's not anything dodgy, Wes. We're live on air, remember, buddy? All right, so here we go. I'm just going to minimize right now the... he's actually drawn on there. Do you want me to leave RSI open, Wes?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, just because it takes up a large part of the screen.
Actually, you can take it down.
It's okay. I'll just zoom in a little bit. There you go. I've got it all on screen, nice and beautiful for you right now.
All right, so guys, in the long term, that's my red line, red dotted line. That's the long term. We're still in a bear market. We're still in a big downtrend. You know, if you extend that red line, it's going to still show downward. You know, it didn't start a week ago. You know, that downtrend's been killing us for a while. You know, so, but I'm going to talk about right now what I see right now. You know, it's what matters to me. Like in a few days, you know, I'm a swing trader, so I need to know. So if you look on the RSI, you'll see that I drew a channel, and you see the yellow lines. It's technically we're still going up. You know, we're going to be going up. We're going in the channel right now. We're in the bottom of the channel. We're still going up though. Technically, we're just going down in the channel right now. You see that? So yeah, we're going to bounce up and down in this channel, and we could break down towards that green channel, but if you look up in the chart now, the top of the chart, you can see I drew a descending wedge in the yellow lines, the yellow dotted lines. That's a descending wedge. So John called it up top. You know, that was where all my lines meet up, and that's where the bull trap happened. We went straight down. Let's see. Yeah, we went straight down. We're still in that descending wedge. We're still in that upward channel, the Scion lines. We broke past the Scion channel, the upward trend. So now we're in the descending wedge, and we're going to bounce up and down, you know, and around 7,800 to, you know, 8,500-ish. We're going to bounce up and down, and anytime we can just pop up. That's what I see right now. I see we're going to go down and down and down. Maybe, I don't see it going past down, you know, like 7,800. I don't think we're going to pass that. I think we're going to go pop up. You know, I don't know how far we're going to pop up, but I think we're going to pop up soon. So that's what I see on my TA right now. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, man. It's very interesting actually to see this descending wedge. I didn't actually notice that before. And now this is again the thing, guys. Sometimes when you look at other people's charts, you notice patterns that maybe you may have missed. Okay, I'm not an expert TA guy, but I like to look at what other people are suggesting, and then I kind of, you know, it's interesting sometimes when you're like, ah, okay, they saw descending wedge. Okay, I see that too now. So yeah. So we're still technically kind of in this cyan dotted line upward channel. However, the overall trend, this big red line here, which I believe extends, I mean, I can't modify this one because it is Wes's chart, but I believe it extends a lot further up, even crossing up to this point here. Okay. But for now, oh God, the zoom on this is a little bit difficult. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, for now, we are in this yellow descending wedge, okay? Still within these blue cyan lines. You heard what Wes has to say. So thank you very much, Wes. It was very nice of you to do that chart so quickly, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, no problem.
Adding one thing onto his wedge there is that if you look right now on Binance on what the walls are, 8,000 is the big support at the moment. So it's got the biggest wall, and it's also a psychological support. So if it drops below that, I mean, there's almost no support all the way to 75K. So if it's going to stay in that triangle and continue, I would probably assume 8K would be a place to look at as like a big turning point spot.
Okay, thank you. Sorry guys, I keep having to mute my mic to cough, which is why I say and then disappear for a sec.
And as you just looked on Binance, that volume, you could totally see people are just holding on to their Bitcoin, you know? Like everyone's trying to get in, you know? I mean, of course there's a red candle right now, but you could definitely tell if you just watch it for the next few hours, people are going to try to buy and buy and buy, you know? Like right now it's a little high, I could say, but it can pop at any time, honestly. We're in the descending wedge, so we have a very good chance of, you know, popping up. There's a lot of support. And, you know, I don't see a lot of resistance, you know, so I definitely think within the next day, we're going to pop back up. We're going to see green again. We're not going to see red for too long, you know, and it's not that big of a red either, you know. We're only down, like $700 on Bitcoin today. That's actually not even bad, like considering how fast we rose up. So,
yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, just I'm not expecting green in the next day or two. But for now, we're going to be bouncing up and down from the 7,700 to 8,500 range.
And as you guys can see here, I've reopened John's chart. Let me just refresh it in case he's updated it at all. And no, I don't see any update on there. So essentially, we will be, let me increase this a little bit. We will be bouncing potentially off of this line where we've already bounced off of, and then combining that with Wes's chart, okay, or we may not even make it down that far. We may potentially bounce back up. But again, guys, you know, a lot of people are worried today about BTC dropping from 9K down to wherever it is now, 8.2. It's only a 7% change over the last 24 hours. It's not that big of a drop, to be honest. In crypto, sometimes you can have drops of 20%, rises of 50%, or whatever it may be. So, yeah, this is the thing with TA. It can give you good calculations of where it potentially may go, okay? But there's no crystal ball, there's no magic, you know, whatever it is, voodoo stuff going on, guys. We can just take these calculations and these estimations and factor them into our trades, essentially. I don't see any questions on the live stream chat on the Discord server, and I don't really see anything right now on is that a question? I'm just reading it very quickly in my mind. I don't think that's a question, so I'm going to leave that as it is. Guys, remember on YouTube, if you want to ask a question, please make sure you proceed it by a big capital letter Q, so I know it's directed at the stream and not just normal chat, which you guys are more than welcome to do on there. Right. The time now is not too far past the hour. I don't think the Jackalow will be coming on again. Martin saying, are you guys keeping the altcoins even through the dip? Yep, we're not going to sell our coins at a loss. We actually haven't updated our coins, so perhaps maybe let's do that before we close the session for tonight. If you guys have any general crypto questions, maybe start to prepare them now. So we have ICX at 4675. We come into our trades. We have ICX here. We said ICX was 4675. So we just modify this one here quickly. 4675. Okay, and then we can copy this one and paste it in this ICX here. 1, 2, 3. And that's all of our ICXs. Walton is at 25708. So then if we come to Walton and we go 25708. Okay. And then we can copy this one down here to 1, 2, 3. I believe that's all the Walton, and this one here as well. I think someone told me about it yesterday. And then we can come over to XRP, which is at 11371. And XRP up here, 11371. I believe is the correct number.
Yep.
Sorry, let's copy that. And let's come down to here, paste, paste, and paste. So as you guys can see, that some of the trades that we did right at the beginning still hurting us a little bit, particularly ICX has been down quite a bit. On our second buys, however, we are quite, we're at a decent profit in ICX, as well as our second buys on XRP are doing very nicely. We will be holding these coins. We are not going to be selling them yet, okay? Even though we are in a little bit of a profit on some of them, okay? Well, the majority of them, there's only 4 trades out of our, I think it's like 12 or 15 trades that we're at a loss at. And it's actually technically ICX right now who's hurting us the most. Hopefully, I really hope that ICX is going to kick off soon. Maybe we can just have a quick look at the ICX chart. And as you guys can see what ICX has been doing recently, it kind of had a very nice boost a few days ago. Jumped up a little bit, but then it just kind of leveled off and it's just been going downhill since. I believe we bought our initial batch of ICX potentially around here somewhere. And as you guys can see, kind of zooming out a little bit more, that it's just kind of, we bought around here and it's just been going a little bit further down. We are still expecting it, are we not? Wes, you're the ICX man. Are we still expecting it to make a nice climb at some point?
Yeah, it's just I don't know, Icon doesn't have a lot of like volume compared to the other coins. So we can still expect it. I expect it to go up still. When the market resumes, bull run, I definitely see Icon hitting quick, like $15. So okay. Yeah.
Someone is making a comment on your chart, whereas that we already hit and broke through the cyan channel line that you had drawn in your chart. Guys, you got to be very careful when you call a breakout on a chart. Sometimes it can literally just go above for a tiny little amount, particularly when it's a new candle, like here. You guys can see there's a little bit of the candle that came above the chart, and it was kind of hovering above it for a while. Quite often, it kind of does that, and then it goes back up again. This here is still the current candle, okay? And this could potentially climb back up, and then we haven't technically broken down out of it. So always wait for a candle or two afterwards to be able to determine whether it has actually truly broken out, or if it's just a fake break, which happens very, very often. Sometimes you find it even breaks up a little bit, stays above for a while, and comes back down, as we saw in John's chart. Where was that point, actually?
And also you can see right now, if you look at my chart,
yep.
Ichimoku cloud is really thin, it's getting really tight. It's usually the indication that it will flip. So it could go back up.
Someone just asking for a link to your chart.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep. Hold on. If we paste it like that, it never works. Guys, you're gonna have to copy and paste it manually into the web address. For some reason, YouTube chat doesn't like allowing links. So yeah, guys, just watch it. Be careful. You guys have a link now to the chart. Enigma saying now I can be live here. Don't close the stream. I'm sorry, Enigma. But there's only so much we can talk about without actually kind of going off topic and talking about random stuff for the rest of the day. Bitcoin has been very, very boring today. I think I checked it about 5 or 6 times only on my phone. I didn't do any trading at all today. I just stayed away from everything. I just let it do its thing. So I'm sorry, guys, that it is a bit of a boring day, perhaps for some of you. Just a note that soon, potentially tomorrow, I will be releasing a separate bonus video where we're gonna be, oops, just messed up our trades, where we're gonna be modifying the sheet, adding in the colors and changing some of the formatting and stuff. It's not gonna be anything serious, guys. It's all just gonna be like formatting related and changing the colors, because I don't want to do it on stream and things go wrong and then people sit here for 20 minutes wondering, why am I watching this crazy stuff? So I'll be releasing that potentially tomorrow as a separate video, so you can look out for that during the day. If you haven't signed up to the Discord server yet, link is on the website, link to the website in the video description. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, then I suggest that you do that. It will help to keep you up to date with what we are doing here. Give a thumbs up as well to the video, or if you want to leave any feedback, then of course you're more than welcome to leave a comment. We got a question coming in right now from Magic Mint asking, how far below a channel resistance line should a candle go before calling a break out or a break up? Guys, I just kind of shared my own personal opinion on that. Wes, do you have a personal opinion on when you can kind of like call a confirmed break or a break up or break down?
If you see it past the wedge or wherever you're looking at, you're gonna know by it's gonna go straight down past it, and then wait for the next candle, and you'll see.
Okay.
Keep in mind sometimes too, like especially on this. So the only candle he had to connect to that blue line, for instance, was the one from just a couple hours ago. And if you look at previous times, there's lines that didn't connect to some that were intermediary. So it could be that the next candle we hit is actually where the support line is. So of the data that we currently have, that one looks like it's the bottom support. So it could be that, say it bounces up right now, at this point where right now is actually what that blue line is supposed to be. So you're only basing it based off the data that you have, because you can see all the other places that it's gone down, but it's nowhere near the bottom. So all those other dips don't matter. This last one could have been one of those as well. So we're only using it because it's the lowest point we currently have.
Yep, and as well, guys, if you remember when we started off earlier, we mentioned that John modified his chart because this orange line was originally coming down through this point here, which meant that it cut off there. And then John modified his chart because we broke, apparently, a lot of people would have claimed that we broke the line. We didn't actually break the line. The line was coming down this way, and we essentially hovered around the line before going back down again. So then he just modified the chart to reflect that this is now the correct placement of the channel line, rather than where it was originally cutting through here. So if it's gonna break, guys, generally you see, like here, okay, generally you see some very, very strong candles breaking through. You know, if it's gonna be a break, and I don't know, Wes, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if it's gonna be a break, guys, it's a big candle that goes through, followed by another candle, followed by another candle, okay? If it's just candles kind of hovering around the line, just kind of tickling it and entertaining themselves and having a bit of a party at the line, it may not be a break. You got to wait and see until it makes a move in either direction, up or down, above the line or below the line, and then you can call it's a break or it's not a break. Would you agree with that, Wes? Or maybe Wes has gone AFK. Okay, so let's see. I don't see any more questions on the Discord server. I don't see any more questions on the YouTube chat. However, John does say, this is not CoinVX, guys. This is another John. I'm not sure which John. Many times when I had a well-planned layered buys and sells and got scared, I cancelled them and moved them lower, and then I missed the best buyers places to have. If you make a buy and it goes down, please. Yep, guys, if you are layering in your buys and sells, okay, and you're just getting started with crypto, always ask for another opinion, okay? Sometimes, again, you may not see something, or somebody may be able to calculate something in a different way, and you can therefore put in better buys and better sells.
Yeah, like we had that last big dip. I had set up layered buys overnight, and I had them down, many of them in the 6K range, and then a few going down to somewhere like 5.5. But before I went to bed, people were saying, well, if this falls through, then it could really go down. If that falls through, it could go down all the way to 4. So that made me panic and stagger them out over a much bigger distance. And then what ended up happening is I only ended up getting 2 buys at about 25% of my stack above the dip, whereas I would have maybe had 50% of my buys above the dip. Now that's not saying, oh, then I should put them all higher either. It's just you can't, once you think and you've looked at all the data and you've decided that that's what you want to do, you should stick to it. And usually if you make layered buys, you increase the amount as you go down. Some people make the same amount over and over again, but what that does is every time you hit a new level, you're bringing your cost average down weighted lower. So say you buy 0.4 BTC at 9, and then you have 0.5 BTC at 8.8, and 0.6 BTC at 6.5 BTC at 8.7 or whatever. And that way, every time it's not just like you're not just bringing it down by another half or whatever your interval is. You're actually increasing your percentage. So it's always more the lower you go. And then that also says, well, if it only bounces, if it keeps going down a lot, you haven't spent a lot at the higher prices. And you still get the opportunity to make some buys at a higher price if it bounces early. And it's just not a lot. So you're still in, but at the same time, you're not in for a lot.
Okay, great advice there, guys. I don't see any more questions, guys, and because the market has been very slow, we don't really have a lot to talk about today. Again, we're not going to be making any trades. I'm really looking forward to what the market is going to do tomorrow. I really do hope that there is some major action and that we do see something happening somewhere. So I think that's going to be it from us for tonight. Be sure to head over to the Discord server. There's a lot of active chat about the current market and how things are going there right now. But for this, that's it from us for tonight. Thank you very much to Crypto Romeo, who was with us earlier and had to leave, to Chakal Jerome, who's always in the background doing some really cool stuff and providing some good input to us. Thank you for Cloud Champ Wes for sharing his chart and analyzing John's BTC chart and providing the input on the TA. Thank you to Damelon for always his great insight and his great comments and sharing about his trades for today. And for Grizz, who is here for moral support today. I know he will be back on stream tomorrow. And of course, to all of you guys for joining in. Be sure to like the video as well and give us any feedback you wish. And hopefully the market will pick up soon. And then we can start to get back on track with our weekly and daily targets. I still have a lot of faith. I'm not worried at all about this, guys. When you know what is possible in the market, and I know a lot of you guys have been doing trades in your own time and you've been seeing some amazing gains. When you know what is possible in the market, you look at this and you're like, it's 1 week, it's all right. The market has been rubbish. We can make that money back really quickly. So that's it from tonight from us, guys. Catch us tomorrow at the same time, 7 p.m. EST or 1 a.m. CET. In the meantime, head over to the Discord server and you will find answers to all your crypto questions. That's it from us. Take care and good night.
Thank you, guys.